Hey everybody, welcome out to Colin's Crazy Creatures. I'm here with Owen McIntyre at Rogue Reptiles.
How you doing, Colin? Good. So, what you have currently in your hand right now, that is my female rough-scale python. She's Morelia carinata. She's about 4 years old, and this will actually be her first breeding season coming up. They get the name from having the keeled scales on her back. They use for all different kinds of purposes. They have these really cool blue eyes and a really cool threat display. When these guys are scared, they'll actually unhook their bottom jaw and pull it out and show you all their teeth, which you don't ever really get to see because they really have to be very stressed or very afraid to see it, so you kind of don't want to see it. But she's a really cool python. She's actually one of my favorites, and she's really, really gentle, even though she looks like she could cause a lot of trouble. So now, Colin, you are kind of young. So when did you get started in reptiles?
Well, I liked all animals from when I was very young, but I liked reptiles from...
You're getting all twisted up in that shirt there.
I was 4 when I first started liking reptiles, and snakes are my favorite.
Okay. And you have how many snakes now?
1.
1? Oh. Don't worry. Those numbers jump real quick. You go from 1 to 12 very fast. Cool snake, right? Yeah.
So when did you start getting interested in snakes?
Well, animals were always a thing for me as well when I was young. Parents used to take me to the zoo a lot. But actually, when I was around your age, I was afraid of snakes. Weird, right?
Yeah.
So what I was hanging out with my cousins by the side of a creek, and an northern water snake came flying up the creek, scared me, and I fell down the creek bank, rolling on all the rocks. So since then, I didn't even want to touch a snake. So I kind of got interested in high school, learning about them, because it was kind of one of those conquer your fear kind of things. And then slowly, as you got into college, really wanted to have a pet snake. So I was 17 and I got my first snake, which was called a smooth scale green snake. They're about that long, about that thick, and they eat crickets and other things like that. And then after that, for my 18th birthday, I got my first carpet python. And then after that, it was all downhill from there. Ton of snakes after that. It was 1 carpet python, 5 carpet pythons, Macklot's pythons, water pythons, Woma pythons, white-lip pythons, rough-scale pythons, boas, retics, everything. You just keep going.
So, what's the biggest one you have?
The biggest one I have, well, there's several to choose from, but I think the biggest one we have right now is the olive pythons. Did you want to see them?
Yeah.
All right, let me take her. We'll go check them out. Come with me. We're just going there. This is one of the biggest. So this is Marvel, and you can see he's got a little bit of blue on him because Marvel's in with a girl. We pulled him away from his girlfriend today. And the problem with olive pythons is that they all kind of look the same. So I kind of needed to know who's who. But Marvel is a 7-year-old olive python. He's about, I want to say he's over 6 feet because he's taller than me, or longer than me, much longer than you. And he is one of the biggest snakes that we have. He is feeding on right now extra large jumbo retired feeder rats. But you can also take guinea pig, chicken, he'll eat anything. If it's in front of his face, he'll chomp on it. But not people, he's good about that. But he is, he's in the Liasis family, which I know you said you have a carpet python, right? So you saw the roughy. And the roughy is in Morelia just like a carpet python. They kind of have the same kind of head. These guys have a much longer snout, a much different kind of head. And they kind of have that uniform olive python color. So this is the wild type olive. This is what they look like in the wild. There is an albino olive python. They're kind of like a creamy white. And then there is also a granite olive python that hasn't really been proven out too much. They're more of like speckled. But Liasis is got Macklot's pythons, water pythons, Cebu pythons, Dunn's pythons. They have a whole big branch, all of themselves just like carpet python. So there's a bunch of different stuff you can do with that. But this is one of the biggest snakes that we have here. We also have his girlfriend, Ivy, who's a little bit bigger than him. You can see her kind of cruising right down in the cage where he was. And then we have two other olive pythons like him, the Timor pythons, and then we have the reticulated pythons and the white lips. They're about his size. So white lips are a little bit smaller, but big snakes need big cages. They also need big food.
So when you're holding this, it feels like you're just holding a really big snake, except when it gets on your shoulders, because then it feels like something's like a very small anvil on your shoulders. So, can we see other Liasis?
Yeah, we got some more stuff here. Let's put him back with his girlfriend, and then we'll check out the other guys.
So these are several Liasis species.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Macklot's.
Yep.
And that is a water python.
This is a water python, yeah. They're fast. So.
And this is a water python.
Right. So this is Liasis Macklot's python, and that is Liasis fuscus, which is a water python. So you can kind of tell she's got a dark pattern. You can kind of see some speckles on her. That's kind of the main difference. The speckling is kind of different depending on which locality of Macklot's python you're looking at. It could be, she's a Roddy Island Macklot's python, so they have a lot less speckling, but other ones do have much more, and they're actually closer. You can see there's Cebu pythons have tons of speckling, and they can come in silver and normal. These guys just kind of have varying degrees, just the color, kind of like this grayish pattern with these old dots. So, and they always have a clean kind of non-speckled head. As far as the fuscus go, they always have these bright orange, let me show it, bellies. So they're a brown snake with these bright orange bellies. The orange can kind of vary depending again on locality and type. There's several different types. He is a, sorry honey. So he is an Indonesian water python, because the Australian ones aren't really here a lot of the times. There's a few different types. I actually saw these guys in the wild in Fog Dam, Australia, which is in the Northern Territory. And I also saw one at the Botanical Gardens in Darwin, which is again in the Northern Territory. But they're cool species. Some people don't really like them because there's no real like color morph. There's just orange on a brown snake and speckled. But I dig them.
Do you dig them too, Colin?
Can you see something other than a python?
Sure can. How about the rhinos? You see the rhinos? All right, let's see the rhinos. So I'm gonna put these two away. Okay, so these are the rhino rat snakes, and they get that name because of that nice little horn they have on the front of their face. Now the horn is not actually hard. It's made of the same scales as the rest of their body. So you can actually see, you can touch it, and it's soft and it bends. And there are a few theories of why that's there. Some people say it's so they can get right into the water and get fish. Some people say it's kind of a sensory kind of organ where they can kind of check their areas around. When they shed, it does peel with the rest of the shed. So you see, like, you know, you've seen snake shed, right? Yeah. Imagine one with like this really long, almost looks like a point on the front of their face in their shed. That's what these guys look like when they peel. They're a really cool snake. These guys are probably full grown. I'm not really going to let them get any bigger. This is a breeding pair. You have Java, which is the boy, and I have Sumatra, which is the girl. And they're really cool because as they move, you can see this white part of their scales that you normally don't see unless they're moving. So if they're standing still, you see nothing but green. But as they move, you start seeing the white sides of those scales, so you can see kind of that white speckling come out as they move. Java likes to move. Sumatra, not so much. Why do I keep giving you the moving ones? So, but they're really, really cool rattlesnake species. They're really, really fun, and they don't take a lot of temperature variation. And they have that really cool. So I keep them in here in room temperature because all the pythons need a lot of warmth, and these guys just kind of hang out at their normal cruising temperature. When they're born, they're like gray and blue, and they slowly get green as they get older. Alright. Okay, so this is the other colubrid. This is a kuriboh. This is Hera. She's the female unicolor kuriboh I have. She is a big, big colubrid, and they kind of have this really cool look. Kind of reminds me of a cobra. That nice little teardrop, black eye kind of deal. Now she's a unicolor because kuribohs have different kind of types. They have yellowtail, blacktail, and unicolor. Unicolor is because she's the same color kind of all the way down. Blacktail would turn black right around here. Same thing with yellowtail. And they're really cool species, and are actually really easy to take care of. Because I don't need to worry about trying to tongue feed these guys or assist feed these guys. All these guys want is me to put a plate down of food and leave. And then they'll eat it. Wanna know what she eats? Well, rats, you got mice, you got chicken, you got quail, you have tilapia, you have big chicken wings, you have turkey necks.
So they're sort of like the tiger shark of snakes.
Pretty close. I mean, it's definitely much more of the. It's a breath of fresh air when you have a bunch of snakes that are picky about their food to get one of these guys, which is just a garbage disposal. Because you can also do things like, if I have snakes that don't eat their food, put it on a big plate and have her eat it. There's a bunch of different stuff we can do.
So you have snakes for sale. Can you see some of the ones for sale? Sure.
So the one you got there in your hand, this is a 2019 baby bredli. She's a 100% het for stonewash, which you kind of can't tell on her because hets look just like normals. Get your head out of there. There you go. But stonewash is a freckled kind of pattern that they get that goes down their entire body. She's feeding on frozen thawed hopper mice already. They kind of try to get them started on frozen thawed and on hoppers as fast as you can because of the bone density. They grow pretty quick. But she's going to be a year old in, I think, June. I'll have to double check on that. But she's growing like a weed, and they're very cool little pythons. Because they're bredli, they can take a lot of big temperature swings, and they're really cool as just pets, even if you're not worried about breeding or anything like that. So that's 2019. This is one of the babies from 2018. So you see all that growth in 1 year. She is a caramel possible het for exanic. So she's a caramel mixed with a het exanic. And that's what you do to get the caramel exanics, which kind of look like a ghost, kind of like carpet python. They're grayish, kind of black silver. They're really cool. She's about almost 2 years old, and she's feeding on frozen thawed adult mice and small rats. And they grow really, really fast when you do it like that. So really cool, really laid back. After they get about a year old, they really get over that nippy carpet thing that they're supposed to have. As you can see, you're holding that guy and he hasn't done anything to you, right? So they get really laid back if you do it right. They're really cool animals and are really cool, like I said, pet or breeding project.
So I'm holding a coastal carpet python. So why did you bring this?
Why did I bring this one out? Because this one, you asked me which one was my favorite, and this would have to be my favorite. This is my coastal carpet python Trinity. And the reason she is my favorite is because when I got her, she could coil up around my thumb, and her head was smaller than my thumbnail. You can see she got a lot bigger over the years. She's about 11 years old, and the other reason that she's one of my favorites is that she is the mother grandmother and great-grandmother to a lot of the snakes that are all around you right now. So that's why she's my favorite. She had, I think, close to 6 or 7 clutches of 32 eggs each time. So she's had a lot of babies. And her last set of babies were actually born last year.
Thanks, Owen, for wanting to check out all these cool snakes.
Sure thing.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and see you next time on Colin's Crazy Creatures.